if you guys saw my previous live stream show from a few months ago, Judge Rodney Smith denied the motion for partial summary judgment. So the case is going to go forward. And there's no real trial date set yet because, as you guys know, there is a criminal case going on against Dr. Adelson due to the murder of Dan Markel, his former brother-in-law. So there's supposed to be some sort of like a case status hearing coming up, I think in maybe around June, after his criminal case is supposed to be over, although I bet that's going to drag out. And then the civil case might be ready for trial sometime in July next year. So let's take a look over here. This deposition was taken December of 2021, and the attorney for the insurance company was doing most of the questioning with some comments from Charlie's attorney in the case. So in part 1, we covered first half of the deposition, which is where he was asked a lot about how his so-called medical problems developed. His back pain allegedly started when he was in a taxi cab in the Philippines in January of 2016. And then they asked him a lot about what kind of travels he had in all those years since and what kind of medical treatment he had. They're asking him about his pharmacy bills. And it says that he did get a prescription for something called alprazolam in 2016, written by Dr. Niemand, a family doctor. And I'm just going to hit some of the highlights here. Says that he had a prescription due to anxiety. Says that he was given a very small dose and it lasted a long time. That's what Charlie said. And he says here he found himself anxious a lot of times for really no reason, just found myself very anxious. So I spoke to him and he thought that taking a small dose of an anxiety medicine could help. Take it as needed. The script lasted me, I think, a long time because I don't think I took it that often. Question, were you anxious because you were concerned that you might be arrested? Hasselbrock, objection. Instruct the witness not to answer. Witness, my attorneys advised me not to answer your question. So they're talking about the anxiety that he had, and he refuses to answer a bunch of questions about anything possibly related to the criminal case of the murder of Dan Markel. Not sure if people really want me to scan through or scroll through the whole entire thing. Says he had another dentist friend, Dr. Pike, prescribe him medication for anxiety in September 2017. He says he was grinding a lot at the time, grinding a lot from TMJ, and it would make it so I didn't grind as much in my sleep when I took it, so that's why I was prescribed it. Question, so it sounds like your need for the medication was different in 2017 than it was in 2016? Answer, yeah. I mean, he suggested I did. I only got one script from him for I believe, in my whole life. So I don't know if I didn't continue with that from him. I don't even know if I took all of them or if I took it. So 2018, Dr. Niemand prescribed him alprazolam again. April of 2018, he said, well, I was probably getting a little anxious during the day, and anxiety medicine can help with being anxious. And I don't even think I took it during the day. I think I ended up taking it at night. And he wouldn't answer any questions if the anxiety could have been caused by what was going on with a murder investigation. Okay. So let me see, I did take some notes here, so I'm just going to hop ahead to some of the pages that I noted that were a little bit more interesting, because a lot of this has to do with testing Charlie Adelson's credibility. Clearly, the insurance company did not believe him when he tried to apply for disability insurance benefits, claiming that he had such a horrible back injury that he incurred a big loss in income over the years due to his back problems. So due to the line of questioning, it's obvious that they think that the loss in income was really due to him not wanting to work or being turned away from jobs after there was more publicity about Dan Markel's murder. So page 232. Okay, Hetherington, that is the attorney for the insurance company. Hetherington, I couldn't disagree more. Your witness has got a disability claim, and what was happening to him in the year in which he claimed it, how it affected him, what led him to make the claim, as well as how it affected, the amount he worked, are all relevant to our defense, and they're relevant areas of inquiry. If you're going to choose him not to instruct him not to answer, that's fine. But I'm going to ask this line of questions, and if you want to instruct him, then do that. But I'm not going to reach an agreement with you on any narrowly tailored set of questions. I'm going to ask the questions that I think are necessary for my client's defense in this case. So you choose. Let's just not waste a lot of time on it. If you're going to instruct him, and we'll move on. We'll take it up with the court. Okay, so clearly the insurance company's attorney is getting irked and annoyed because for a lot of the questions, Charlie refused to answer, and his attorney was backing him up and objecting and telling him not to answer these questions. So, for example, Hetherington was asking, how has your life changed since your brother-in-law was murdered? Objection. I'll instruct the witness not to answer other than as to effect on any employment-related issues. Here, Charlie finally says something that is a little bit more informative. He says, I had Dr. Kuhl's office. I had Dr. Kuhl say that he wants to suspend our working relationship for the time being until the matter is sorted out. And then I had Dr. Kaufman get harassed by a reporter, and that's how it's affected me. Hetherington, those are the two you're aware of? Hasselbrock, objective form. Witness, yes. Hetherington, okay. Now, is it possible, Dr. Adelson, that somebody chose to stop working with you and didn't tell you why? Answer, it's always possible. Question, can you describe for us what it was like to have your name mentioned in news articles and on television regarding the murder of your ex-brother-in-law? Hasselbrock, again, I'm objecting. I think you can answer that question to the extent that it's related to the effect of publicity on your employment. Witness, I'm not going to answer that question. Repeat it again. Okay, so this kind of goes on for a while. I'll just go ahead and skip over a little bit of that and just scroll through in case people want to take a look at it more carefully after this live stream is over. They ask him about the podcast that's been downloaded more than 2 million times in regards to Markel's murder, asking him about publicity, negative publicity with the dental practices. Okay, so this is where Charlie actually did a little bit of answering here. Okay, question. Did you discuss the negative publicity with any of the dental practices that you worked with? Hasselbrock, objective form, but you can answer. Witness, yes. Hetherington, any besides Dr. Kuhl and Dr. Kaufman? No. Question, did you have any other dentist ask you questions about the publicity or the murder? No. Question, nobody said, hey, Charlie, is it true? Did you do it? Answer, no. Question, did you discuss the negative publicity and how it was affecting your life with your father? Answer, not that I can remember. Question, did you discuss the negative publicity and how it was affecting your life with your mother? Hasselbrock, same objection. As far as how it affects your employment, you can answer. Witness, yeah, under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer your question. Okay, so on and on and on. What's the next page that I thought was worthy of bringing up? Oh, okay. So there's a question about selling the practice to his father. So Hetherington, Line 15. Did the publicity surrounding the Dan Markel murder have anything to do with you selling the Adelson Institute back to your dad in 2015? Answer. Under advice of my counsel, I'm not going to answer any of your questions. Question. Do you recall a request for records relating to Catherine McBanua's employment at the Adelson Institute on June 21st of 2016? Hasselbrock. Same objection, and I instruct you not to answer the question. Being asked about the criminal investigation, when he got counsel, has he been questioned by the police? Have family members been questioned by the police? What services did Katie perform as an employee? He wouldn't answer any of that stuff. Question, were you depressed during 2016? Answer, no. Question, did you tell your girlfriend, Ms. Umchinda, that you were miserable? Answer, when she was yelling at me. Question, so yes. Answer, only when she yells at me. Question, did you tell Ms. Umchinda that everyone was out to get you in 2016? Answer, no. Question, is it fair to say you were angry during that time and ticked off at everything, that is, in 2016? Answer, no, it's not true. Question, did you tell anyone in 2016 that you had no friends anymore? Answer, that's not true. Question, in 2016, did you keep cash in your room in a safe stapled in bundles? Answer, under the advice of my counsel, I'm not going to answer any of your questions. So same thing, did you keep cash stapled in bundles? Okay, question, have you ever done dental work for cash? Hasselbrock, objective form, you can answer. Witness, I can answer? Hasselbrock, yeah, you can answer if you can. Witness, no. Another question, did you ever receive your payment for your services in cash? Answer, no. Question, okay, why did you sell the Adelson Institute back to your father in 2015? Answer, it was something that was beyond my ability to manage, and he'd been managing it since the time he sold it to me. So I guess, transferred or sold it back to him. Question, okay, what did you do to try to manage it? Answer, not a whole lot. I was a very absentee owner. Question, okay, so why did you buy it in the first place? Answer, I had hopes that I was going to run it, and I just realized that my dad was selling the practice. So I said, if you're going to sell it, I think I'd like to buy it. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but then I ended up not being very hands-on, and he ended up staying on and running it, and then staying on and doing all the administration, staying on and having the same headaches he had before with the office when I was the owner. And I couldn't give it the attention that it needed. So we just said, you know what, let's just take it back. I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm not helping you out, so. Question, but you owned it in July of 2014 when your brother-in-law was murdered, correct? Answer, I'd have to check the dates, but I think so. Yeah. Okay. Question, okay, and you owned it when Catherine McBanua started working at the Adelson Institute, correct? Hasselbrock, objection, instruction not to answer. Okay, so more things that he refuses to answer here. Okay, so then he's talking about why he stopped working for all these different practices, what happened with all these different dentists that he had been doing work for. Okay, so that takes a while. So this is in regards to a dentist who supposedly contacted him again, talking about wanting advice for one of her daughters about going to medical or dental school. So that dentist called up Charlie and asked if he was interested in coming in to do more work. He said, quote, and I was thinking to myself, there wasn't much work there to begin with, and my back's killing me. So the thought of picking up new offices is not what I want to do. That's what I told her. The attorney just continues asking him about every single doctor that he had listed as working for during that time frame and what happened. Why did he stop working at each of the practices? It was also implied that perhaps there was at least one dentist who had told the insurance company that Charlie had already mentioned something about back problems back in 2015, or perhaps someone had actually seen him wearing a TENS unit or something. But of course, Charlie denied that during the deposition. Okay, so let's hop forward a little bit to page 340. We're going to try to get through this whole thing because originally I did do 5 different live stream shows to cover the whole entire deposition, which was very exhausting, and I'm not sure if people really listen to 100% of all that. So this will be a much shorter version. Let's see, so talking about the Adelson Institute. Okay, so the attorney is asking him, did you work between 3 to 10 days a month, depending on the month? Is that consistent with your recollection? Charlie says, that's not consistent with my recollection. Question, okay, well, what is your recollection? How often did you work at the Adelson Institute? Answer, it always varied when I came in, why I came in. I think I was there about once a month, once every 3 weeks, depending, once every 6 weeks. It depends on what people needed. I was there on an as-needed basis, just like everybody else. Question is, and are you maintaining your testimony from the standard case in this case? That's another lawsuit that he had previously been involved in for disability benefits. Okay, so the question is that you never received any compensation for any work you did at the Adelson Institute? Answer, correct. Question, and you owned the Institute from 2012 when you bought it from your dad until you sold it back to your dad in the fall of 2015, correct? Answer, I don't know the date that I sold it back to him, but I'll assume you're right. Question, assuming that's correct, you owned it for a period of time? Answer, I had it for a couple of years, yeah. Question, and you maintained that even during that time you didn't work there very often. Is that your testimony? Answer, I mean, I worked there as often as the records state. Question, well, that's helpful. So we can look at these records and see when you were there, right? Answer, Hasselbrock, objective form. Hetherington, okay, thank you. Did you say yes? I think I heard you say yeah. Answer, well, I got to see the patients because, I mean, I'm just looking at your print. I'm going off the printout you gave me. Question, right. That's what I'm going off of too. Do you have some more patient information you could show me to help me see if the printout I gave you is correct? Okay, so they're kind of going on and on about records and not getting enough records or comprehensive records about all the work he did. Okay, question, when was the Adelson Institute sold? Answer, it was sold in September, I believe. Question, of this year? Answer, 21, yeah. Question, okay, so if we needed to get the patient's names and x-rays and all that stuff, your family had that information until September of 2021, correct? Hasselbrock, objective form. Witness, no. Hetherington, why is that not correct? Answer, my family didn't have your information. Question, where is the information? Was it not at the Adelson Institute? Answer, well, when you say my family, you're being very broad. Question, your father's business. Answer, the office that my dad owns? Question, yes. Answer, okay. Question, the information would have been there at least until your dad sold it in September of 21, correct? Answer, I mean, if it wasn't blocked out, I could see it here. Question, right. Oh, we don't have any x-rays here though. Okay, so let's see. What else did I mark? Okay, page 351. So let's just scroll through here. Okay, talking about another doctor. Okay, so this is where Charlie mentions that his dog died. Long story short, my dog died. I got away for, actually, my dog died. A friend of mine killed himself a few days later, and I took some time off. And a patient who I'd seen in her office the last day I was there had a complication, and I was out of town. So she sent the patient to an oral surgeon who said that the patient had a sinus infection from where I pulled the tooth and was suffering from 2 dry sockets. Okay, so there's some sort of issue going on there with a dentist here, where there was a patient that was upset and in pain. Okay, then they talk about another dentist, another practice. Charlie says the relationship just drifted apart. Okay, when did he start working for a different dentist? Goes on and on. Oh, okay, here. Question. And do you know if Dr. Stanton was concerned at all about the publicity surrounding your ex-brother-in-law's murder? Answer. Yeah, he made a point of telling me, actually, that we never lost a patient because of any publicity, and he loved my work. But he found a new friend, and his wife was good friends with this guy's wife. So I think I had like literally 2 implants fail, 2 or 3 implants fail in the month of 2 implants fail in the month of October of 18. And I even said to him, I said, Rob, we do like 100. We do 100 implants a year. You should have a 95% success. So you do 100 implants, 95% success, 5 implants should fail. And our failure rate was within normal accepted amounts. He started telling me, well, we're having all these implants fail. And I said, go back through your list and see how many implants, we had fail. And he's like, I'm not paying somebody to go do that. And he was just looking for a reason to bring in his new best friend. Question. Did you ever talk to Dr. Stanton about your back? Answer. Yeah. Question. You kept working there even though your back was hurting? Answer. Yeah. I mean, I still work and my back still hurts, so. Question. So he's one you told about your back? You told me earlier you didn't tell a lot of people. So he's one you told about your back? Answer. He probably knew about it just from being friends with me, being around me, more of a social, so probably complained that way. So then he's talking about another falling out with somebody with Pike. Okay, question. So the new periodontist he brought on was your buddy, Dr. Pike? Answer. Mm-hmm. Question. I heard you had a falling out with Dr. Pike. I mean, is that true? Answer. No. I went to dinner with him for my birthday. My birthday was October 27th. It was a Wednesday. So I guess it was the Saturday after my birthday. I actually ended up going to dinner with him and another periodontist who was in town. Question. Oh, so I guess no hard feelings about his work with Dr. Stanton taking your old job? Answer. You trying to get me upset? You know what? Offices come and go, and anyone has a right to let you go for any reason. It's up to me if I want to try to replace him. Question. Okay, now I asked you at the very beginning about Dr. Berkovich, but candidly, I want to make sure I remember why you stopped working for her. You're still friendly with Dr. Berkovich and her husband, who's your business partner in some of your real estate investments, right? Answer. You say friendly. I mean, we don't really hang out. I still have a property that I own with Alex Berkovich. Question. Yeah, but so remind me why you stopped doing work at Dr. Berkovich's, his wife's office. Answer. Yeah, his wife was taking implant courses. She started to do some of her own implant work, and she was having a general dentist that was in her office working. And I was telling her, look, my back's killing me. Because every time I come out to an office, I got to pack everything up, drive out there, drive back, unpack it, repack it, carry everything out. So, even if I came out to the office to do a consult, it would be 3 hours of work because of the time travel and setup and everything. So with my back hurting the way it was and the fact that she didn't really need me, I said, I don't think this is a great fit for me anymore. I'm trying to cut down on work. So. Question. Okay. Any discussion with either of the Berkoviches about the publicity around your ex-brother-in-law's murder? No. Question. I mean, they never said at any point hey, what's this all about? Or anything like that? Answer. No. Question. Okay. Now you mentioned, let me just ask you quickly. Did you ever end up resolving your differences with Dr. Heineke? Didn't you have to sue him at some point? Answer. Never. I don't know if the lawsuit was ever filed, and I never worked out our differences. I never got paid. So that I never heard of or saw any sort of lawsuit in regard to that dentist. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, page 363. Okay, so this deposition actually took all day until after 7 p.m. Okay, then he's asking about how Berkshire was asking for information to decide on his claim. So, of course, the insurance company has basically also said that Charlie Adelson just did not provide sufficient information, and that's why they denied his claim for disability benefits. Question. My question is this, sir. After April 20th of 2017, did you provide any additional documentation showing the work performed during the period January 1st, 2015 to the present at the dental offices that you told Berkshire about? Answer. I gave them whatever I had. Question. Okay. Well, did you have anything or did you have to go get it from the dental offices? Answer. I would have to ask the dental office for it, and it would be up to them to give it. Question. And during the claim, did you ask all the dental offices to provide information? Answer. I did. And I had my assistant from my office, my dad's office, I believe, call up and make requests. And I made requests also. Question. You made requests to some and the assistant? Answer. No, I believe my assistant my assistant from my dad's office tried to get some of the information that Guardian was asking, and I know I repeatedly asked these offices for the same information. Question. And so is it fair to say that you weren't able to provide all of the information that Berkshire requested with respect to the documentation showing your work performed and the volume of and your duties at each of these offices? Answer. I can only give them what I have access to. Question. Well, you had access to the information for the Adelson Institute, right? Answer. I could have Erica get it on the computer and do it. Yeah, I'm not a computer person. Question. Right. Answer. But that's not my office either, so what you're asking for, right? So I don't even know. Question. Are you suggesting you had difficulty getting information from the Adelson Institute? Answer. I'm telling you, I'm not the custodian of those charts. Question. I understand that, but your father was the owner of the dental practice at this time, correct? Answer. Right. But do you know what the login information is to get on the computer? Question. I don't. No, sir. Answer. Me neither. Question. All right. Very well. Answer. So that makes two of us. Question. But you could have asked for it, correct? Answer. It's not my office. Question. Okay. So let's see. Okay, page 378. Okay, this is about trying to get information from Dr. Federani, who is one of the doctors Charlie saw a little bit more often compared to some of the other doctors. Okay, so in regards to Federani, the attorney is asking him, what did you do? Just put a piece of paper in front of him and say, fill this out? Surely you talked to him about something. Answer. I don't remember how the piece of paper came to him. Question. Okay. Answer. Does he remember how it came to him? Question. We'll find out. You don't remember, as we sit here today, you don't recall asking Dr. Federani to complete an attending physician statement for your disability claims? Answer. I don't remember specifically asking him, but if that was asked of me to ask him to do it, I'm sure I tried to follow through. Question. But you don't have a general or specific recollection as we sit here today? Answer. Of me handing him a piece of paper? I don't remember me handing him a piece of paper. Question. Okay. Answer. I'm not saying he didn't fill it out. I'm just telling you I don't remember handing him a piece of paper. This is some sort of phone call he had with someone that works for the insurance company. So let's go down here. Okay, so they were still trying to get information from him for a while, making calls to him. Let's jump over to page 378. So they're asking about dates of treatment and what doctors he saw. Okay, mentioned that he was taking Xanax, also known as alprazolam. When he listed the average number of hours that he was working each week, he put 72. Okay, so the question is, and you say 72, you say you're working from 8 to 8 and you check every day except Sunday. You see that? Answer, Yeah, but the hours were longer than that. So if you want to correct it, we can correct it now. Question. Now you intended, I take it, when you filled out this statement to provide complete and accurate information so that your disability claim could be evaluated, correct? Hasselbrock. Objective form. Witness. You're asking for averages, and usually, so not exact times, right? And averages, so it's a guesstimate? Hetherington. My question's unrelated to that. Answer. Oh, okay, sorry. Question. Were you trying to provide complete and accurate information when you filled out this statement? Hasselbrock. Objective form. Witness. You're talking about number 10? Hetherington. I'm talking about the whole statement. Answer. Oh, this whole question. Yeah. Answer. Booklet? Question. Yes. Answer. So was I trying to provide complete and accurate information? Yes, I was. Question. Thank you. That may have been the easiest question I've asked you all day. So you were trying to be accurate on this statement, correct? And that would have been the same for number 10 and every other one on this list, correct? Answer. Right. Question. All right. And number 11, on the next page where you say you're making $85,510 per month, you are trying to be accurate, correct? Hasselbrock. Objective form. Witness. Trying. Yes. Hetherington. How did you determine that number when you filled out this statement? Answer. I think it would have just been an average. Question. An average of what? Where did you go to look at it? Did you average your bank statements out? Did you? Answer. Can I look at my calculator for a second? Question. Well, you can just describe. Answer. It doesn't matter. Question. For me. We don't need to waste the time. Answer. Sure, because that's about if you took 12 months and you divided it by the year, there's 12 months in a year, and divided it out, then that's the number you came out with. Question. Okay. Another way of saying it would be if you took that number and multiplied it by 12, you come up with what you were making for a year, right? Answer. You're a mathematician. Thought that was interesting. They're talking about CDT codes, information that I guess the insurance company is saying they didn't get enough information. This is almost over. Okay, this is where the attorney is ending things, and he does seem pretty annoyed with Charlie Adelson. Hetherington says, okay, I'm going to suspend this deposition until a later date when we can resolve the publicity issues that you refuse to answer today, as well as to address the pending text issues which have not been provided, and additional areas of inquiry that I will seek additional time to pursue. So with that admonition, I will pass the witness. Hasselbrock. And we object to the continuation of this deposition. I think we've satisfied 7 hours on the record today, and so we will deal with that issue separately. Hetherington. I don't think we're quite at 7 hours, and I would note for the record that much of our time has come as a result of your client choosing to provide very long narrative answers to fairly simple questions, as well as a significant amount of time to review documents and other things, as well as our fighting about the publicity issues. So I would think it's fundamentally unfair to suggest that this deposition should stop at 7 hours, and I will be seeking additional time to depose this witness. But I do thank you, Dr. Adelson, for your time today. And witness, it's my pleasure. Hetherington, appreciate you coming in to talk to us. Witness, it's my pleasure. Okay, so this ended at 7:15 p.m. All right, so that's that. Just hitting the highlights of Charlie Adelson's civil litigation deposition.